When someone is said to be acting in bad faith, they're accused of being intentionally misleading or dishonest about their motivations and understanding of a topic, which can also take the form of self-deception, where they play dumb or ignore facts that are inconvenient to a narrative they're trying to push. And in my mind, the lead provides a great example of this behavior in the two videos he made concerning Letitia James, the Attorney General of New York State. She was the prosecutor who successfully sued Trump and his former attorney, Michael Cohen, for tax fraud and falsifying business records in order to pay hush money to adult actress Stormy Daniels because she and Trump had a one-night stand and he felt it would hinder his 2016 presidential campaign if the story ever came out. The conviction resulted in a $454 million fine against Trump and barring him from running any businesses in the state of New York, while Cohen served 3 years in federal prison for tax fraud, violating campaign finance laws, and lying to Congress. In seeking revenge, Trump has set his sights on Letitia after winning re-election, accusing her of mortgage fraud and pushing the Department of Justice to file a criminal indictment against her. What's notable about the lead's take on this whole situation is how he abandons his usual reliance on hard facts and evidence, but instead quotes right-wing pundits and MAGA Republicans, repeating their claims as if they are all the proof he needs to assume her guilt.
Trump administration accused New York Attorney General Letitia James of mortgage fraud. They've made a criminal referral to the Justice Department seeking federal prosecution.
Oh my goodness. Now apparently they've caught her making false declarations in mortgage documents. They're trying to get her indicted. She knows exactly what she did. She knows these documents that she signed.
For instance, one of the claims made about the alleged fraud is that Letitia and her father were listed as husband and wife in loan documents in order to secure more favorable terms for Letitia.
And you're not supposed to do those kind of things.
Okay, so apparently she's lying about how many rooms her house has. She's saying that she lives in one state when she really lives in another. And crazily, she's writing on mortgage documents that she's married to her father. All of these lies to secure benefits for herself.
Funny thing is, the only documents that have emerged so far come from the Gateway Pundit, a right-wing rag similar to the New York Post that frequently peddles in conspiracy theories and has faced several lawsuits for publishing false or misleading information. The documents they source supposedly come from the New York City Department of Finance. However, I haven't been able to verify if these documents are genuine or altered in some way to validate the claims against Letitia. This story was published back in March of this year, so you'd figure if there was any truth to these claims, these documents would be presented as the smoking gun for anyone hoping to confirm her guilt. But after more than 6 months, the case seems to have stalled, with Trump even threatening to fire Eric Siebert, the Attorney General of Virginia's Eastern District, because he believed the evidence against her was weak and doubted if he could even bring an indictment against her. Choosing to leave on his own terms, Siebert resigned from his position. Mind you, he was nominated by Trump himself for the role, and now Trump has enlisted his personal attorney, Lindsay Halligan, to take up the case as the new Attorney General of that district. And already she's been under fire for the numerous errors made with her indictment against former FBI Director James Comey. Now, while some of these developments happened months after the lead published his videos, back in April and May of this year, listen to how he talked about the case at the time.
Letitia James, what is wrong with this lady?
The man in the White House
Democrats.
who can't go a day without threatening our fundamental rights. Yes.
Letitia James always says that the mortgage fraud charges against her are baseless.
Let me just say to all New Yorkers and to all Americans, the allegations are baseless.
This is lawyer speak. I've been a lawyer for over 20 years, and I'm going to tell you exactly what baseless means, and I'm going to tell you why I think she's guilty. She says these allegations are baseless, that it's a political hit job, that this is just a revenge tour for President Donald Trump. But you know what she doesn't say? She doesn't say, I never did it. She doesn't say, I'm innocent. She doesn't say, I never lied. She doesn't say any of these things, not once, and it's not a coincidence. Calling an allegation baseless is not the same as saying that you are innocent. In legal vernacular, baseless means that you don't think there's enough evidence to convict you. It's a way that attorneys communicate to attack the prosecution's case while not denying the conduct itself. But innocent people don't speak this way. Innocent people say, I didn't do it. They say whoever's making these allegations is lying. They say I'm being framed. But that's not what T.T. James is saying, and that should raise an immediate red flag in everyone's head.
Attorney General James is now asking for money in the midst of all this. She's launched a fundraiser in the form of an event next Tuesday calling for contributions starting at $500, going all the way up to $18,000.
Look at this. She's engaging allegedly in all this mortgage fraud, then has the gall, the audacity to turn around and ask for $18,000 per head. You know what this kind of reminds me of? And I don't want to take this too far off the rails. It kind of reminds me of this. You know, you commit a crime and then you turn around and ask for the public to fund you. Where is the decency? Where is shame gone in 2025? People are out here running around with no morals, no conscience.
So, in the mind of the lead, the mere fact that Letitia is being accused of these crimes, and instead of claiming innocence or being framed, she refers to the claims against her as baseless, this is enough to presume her guilt. Oh, and plus she's a Democrat, so that's a strike against her too, I guess.
Democrats.
This seems like a blatant disregard for one of the most fundamental principles of the U.S. legal system: innocent until proven guilty. Just because you assume and desire a person to be guilty, or somebody you trust alleges that a person is guilty of a crime, neither of those things prove their guilt.
And I'm going to tell you why I think she's guilty.
Then we get this really gross, shallow comparison to the Karmelo Anthony case, the teenager whom allegedly murdered one of his peers at a school event.
I don't want to take this too far off the rails. It kind of reminds me of this. You commit a crime and then you turn around and ask for the public to fund you.
Yeah, lead, you definitely went off the rails with this one. First of all, that $18,000 price tag in the Act Blue fundraiser, those are related to her election campaign for Attorney General, not to help with her personal finances. In addition to that, those funds were to be split evenly with the political action committee that supports liberal and progressive politicians, not to mention that people can make smaller donations than the $18,000 price point. But secondly, Letitia hasn't even been formally indicted, though you saw it appropriate to compare her situation to the Karmelo Anthony case, which, as far as I know, that case is still being litigated and he hasn't been found guilty of anything. And if his family wants to raise funds to secure a legal team that will fight to ensure he has a fair trial, then what's the problem? As much as he likes to remind us of his 20 years experience as an attorney and how much authority this grants him to speak on these issues, the lead is willing to ignore fundamental ideas about our justice system and make shallow judgments about the people forced to defend themselves against these accusations. In other words, the lead is acting in bad faith. And wouldn't you know it, despite the national coverage and updates since his last video in May, the lead hasn't provided any of his own reflections on why the case is stalled or the shuffling of prosecutors under Trump's watch. He simply moved on to the next grievance he has, which seems to be with Democrats, or at least people that he associates with Democrats and liberal policies.
Democrats.